All right, I've got this DC to AC power inverter, and it's from a company called YSOLX, and the part number for this is X003TC6T25, and this is an 800 watt modified sine wave inverter. So let's open it up, see what we got. You've got your instruction manual. Here's the inverter itself, and it looks like we've got two different ways to charge it. One is through a cigarette lighter in your car, and another one is connecting it directly to a battery. So let's get this connected and we'll check that out. Okay, both of these charge cables come with ring connectors on one end, which is nice. Makes it super easy to get these connected. And these posts on the back, this is where you connect your charging cables. I know that there are some inverters where they have posts where you connect them to your fuse box. You do not want to connect this to your fuse box. This is for charging only. So you're going to want to connect this. And when you're connecting these, make sure that you don't have, you're not connected to a battery or to a cigarette lighter. We'll just get those on. Got these nuts. All right, that's all there is to it. Now we're ready to plug this in and we'll give it a test. All right, so I'm inside my truck here. Let's go ahead and get this guy plugged in. Just set that right there. Plug that in, and then this has an on-off switch in the back. Turn that on. Should be a light on the front. Yep. And we should have the fan blowing in the back. Yep. All right, so there's a couple of things that I want to try on here. One thing that I want to point out is that these cigarette lighters, oftentimes you're only going to get 10 to 15 amps through there, and it's at 12 volts, so you're not going to get more than 150, 180 watts out of there. So even though this is an 800 watt inverter, you're not going to pull 800 watts through a cigarette lighter. So what I want to plug into here is going to be less than 800 watts. So let me go grab a couple of things and we'll try that out. Okay, one of the things that I take with me every time I go on the road are my DeWalt batteries. But I don't have a way to charge when I'm down at my off-grid cabin because I don't have power. So this is going to pull right around, it's somewhere between 150 and 180 amps. So this would be a good application for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this plugged in. Let's see, is this polarized? Okay, so I've got that plugged in, and you can see I've already got my battery in here. It's charging. So this is a perfect application for a box like this. Another good application is, well, I just want to mention, you don't want to plug a phone charger in here. It's going to go from DC to AC and then back to DC. YSOLX has already figured that out, and they've integrated two USB A ports, and they're both 2.1 amps. So just plug your phone directly into the inverter, and you can bypass having to use one of them charger bricks. Okay, so let me grab my phone. Okay, you can see I'm charging 69% full, 44 minutes until full. So that's just coming right off. You can see the trace of cables coming right off the USB port. So if I unplug this port, you should be able to see that charging stop. So this is doing everything that I need it to do. But there is one other application where you can connect this directly up to a battery, and I would be able to use this in my camper. We'll talk about that in just a second. Alright, so the next application is I just pulled the battery out of my camper. So I've swapped over to the alligator clips. So now I want to connect this. So we'll come here, we'll connect ground to ground, power to power. Okay, let me turn this on. Okay, and you can see that I've got a green light. And this is where you can take full advantage of your 800 watts. So what I've got here is I've got a heater, it's variable, and it has 3 different settings. Alright, so let's got everything connected up. Let's go ahead and turn the fan on. This first mode is going to be fan only. And that's pulling about 150 watts. So got no issues there. I'll put it on the second setting. And this one is pulling 750 watts. And that's actually the low heat setting. So yeah, this is starting to heat up. So this is an 800 watt inverter, so it should be able to handle 750 watts with no issues. And it looks like it's doing just that. Alright, there's something else that I wanted to check. And I wanted to remove at least one of the screws. And don't do this on yours because that'll void the warranty. But there's something that I want to check with the screw, but I'll be able to tell a lot about this inverter. Okay, so these are not, let me show you. These are not self-tapping screws. They're just threaded, which means that the inverter is threaded as well. And that's a good sign. If these were self-tapping screws, that means that these were just thrown together and there could be metal shavings on the inside, and you don't want that. So, good quality move. Alright, so what are my impressions of this DC to AC inverter? I think it's a pretty good inverter. I think it's going to do well for me. It does exactly what I need it to do. It can charge my phone directly through the USB ports. It can charge my batteries for my tools when I'm in an off-grid situation. That's always nice to have a backup. I try to bring extra batteries, but every now and then, you know, you'll run through every one of them batteries and you've got no way to charge it. Now I do. And then if you need access to the full 800 watts, then that's where these alligator clips come into play. And you just connect it directly to any battery. It can be connected to your vehicle battery, or if you have a spare like I do in my camper, then you connect it directly to that. So this does everything that I want it to do, and it's going to be a great addition to my equipment when I go off-grid.